And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, General Manager at WEIU. We're going to today talk to the EIU Office of Leadership and Engagement. In the studio, Crystal Brown. Welcome, Crystal.
Good morning. Good afternoon, actually.
Yeah, and Nathan Wehr.
Yes, good afternoon.
Why don't you both introduce yourselves in terms of maybe your duties and your job titles, and then we'll get started on some of the stuff that's happening.
Yeah, I'm Crystal, and I'm the Associate Director in the Office of Leadership and Engagement. And we both oversee the whole office, but primarily I'm overseeing still our civic engagement, volunteer programs, and our campus food pantry.
Absolutely. I am Nathan Wehr, and I serve as the Director of the Office of Leadership and Engagement. My main responsibilities are mostly fraternity and sorority life. We do leadership programming, student engagement, so those are my kind of main areas.
All right, it's a week from today, classes start. So what does this week mean to your offices, and what's all going on from your point of view this week? I know you guys are swamped. So.
There's so much happening, especially with the expansion of our office, but the primary thing this week is gearing up for Jumpstart, our annual service day for all of our incoming freshmen. So we're excited to send about 900 students out to about 24 different project sites on Saturday morning.
That's this coming Saturday, correct?
Yes, this coming Saturday. They'll be going to anywhere from Fit to Serve to Aikman Wildlife, Standing Stone, 5 Mile House. They'll be here on campus making blankets for One Stop, Community Christmas. So a ton of different opportunities for our students to get connected to our community.
Can you both take us through like how you organize 900 people, 24 different agencies? And do they get to pick where they want to go, or and think?
Absolutely. So after they come for orientation, they can select their site through My EIU, and they'll have a description there, so they get to pick that site, and then from there we communicate kind of follow up. This is where your site, this is where you're going, and then when they check in on the Tarbell Arts kind of drive right there, though we get a lot of school buses, have them check in, and then we say go do some good stuff.
So they are bused then?
Yes, they are bused. Yep.
And then how many hours do they have to volunteer on the Saturday, or does it matter? Or is it?
They're on project site for 2 hours.
Okay. And when these project sites, when they sign up for this, do they have like a list of things that they want the students to do, so they're prepared? So when the students get there, they know they're making widgets or whatever?
Most of the sites do have a general idea of what's going to happen or the types of projects they're doing. So as Nathan said, when they choose their site after orientation, they're picking the site with a description, so they have an idea of what to expect that day.
And you said there's 900 students that are going to do it?
Yes.
Now, is that all the incoming freshmen, or those ones signed up, or how's that work?
While it's mandatory for freshmen, I mean, it's still, they have to take the initiative to sign up for it and complete that process. So I would say it's probably the majority of the incoming freshmen, because there are some transfer students that are participating as well.
Now, what about another student who just likes to do things? Can they sign up on Saturday, or,
Unfortunately, not this project. Anything else we do throughout the entire school year, any student's open to it. This one is specifically for our new students.
So if a new student happens to be listening or happens to get word that they haven't signed up, they still have time this week to get signed up?
They can still sign up. It's still showing up in their My EIU checklist as something for them to complete.
Okay, cool. And then recruitment, in terms of, I know that's another thing you want to talk about, so talk about recruitment and where that comes from.
Yeah, so fraternity recruitment and sorority recruitment is right around the corner, so it'll be the week after the Labor Day weekend. So we'll start that September 9th and 10th and go until the 17th and 18th. So fraternities will host open houses, recruitment events. We'll also have a fraternity preview day on that Sunday, September 10th. And then on Saturday, September 9th, we'll have a sorority preview day. And then they'll have their open houses through the week. And then on Sunday, September 17th, we'll have bid day, best day out in Greek Court in the Egg.
Okay. Now, how many fraternities and sororities are on campus right now?
In total, we have 23, and that includes our IFC Panhellenic, NPHC, and MGC organization. So our office, though, only oversees the IFC and Panhellenic side of things, so we have 16 in our area.
Okay. And the sororities and fraternities, are they required to? They don't all live in the new housing.
No, no. Each chapter has a 1 to 2 year living requirement. The average is about 2 years. So about your sophomore, junior year, you'll live in.
Okay.
Yep.
And do they still call it Rush Week too, or not?
The men do, yes. It has changed to more of like recruitment. but some, yes, the
All right.
title's still there.
Just trying to relive some.
Right.
There you go. And the other thing is, the civic leadership and engagement has grown, from probably even maybe the last time we talked. So talk about the other areas and other things that are going on in your office there, Crystal and Nathan.
Yeah. From the civic engagement and volunteerism side of the office, we're still kind of doing what we've always done. We have one-time volunteer opportunities happening 6 days a week on campus and off campus with our community partners that will promote on our Volunteer Now webpage for students to sign up for. So there's definitely going to be a lot of ways for students to get involved that way. From a civic engagement perspective, we'll still be doing programming, educational workshops throughout the year. Our main focus areas this year are going to be our Operation EIU votes, because we are only just over a year away from the next big election. So it's time to start ramping up for that. Having voter registration tabling happening, because we want our students to get involved and know that they can get out there and have a voice.
Let's stop there just for a second, because obviously there's kids who maybe are registered in Chicago or Indianapolis or St. Louis, but if the election day if they want to vote here, they need to see you. And how does that work?
Yeah, any EIU student has the choice to register to vote here locally in Coles County, because really this is their home for the majority of the year, or they can choose to register to vote back in their home county. And that's really their choice. I mean, it depends on if they have a connection to somebody that's running or an issue that's happening in their home area, or if it doesn't really matter to them, then they can vote here. But yeah, they can go wherever they would like, and we can help them with that process if they have questions.
Okay. You can keep going on.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. So that'll be a big key area over the next year. And then we'll still have our Hunger Action Month in November, educating students about hunger and poverty. And if they aren't already aware of our campus food pantry, making sure that they are aware of that and that they know those resources are there for them.
How is the campus food pantry doing? We haven't talked to you probably for a while.
Oh my gosh, it's going well. The need is definitely there. The first year the pantry was open, we saw just under 1,000 students. And this past academic year, we saw over 2,800 students.
Holy cow.
So we are anticipating that number to grow again this year. So we're gearing up for that to open back up next Monday afternoon. Will be our first open day. And we'll be open every Monday through Friday afternoon when classes are in session during the academic year.
Do you have something to add, Nathan?
No, I was going to say, yeah, we're going. And if they can't make it during those hours, we do have an online shopping form that they can fill out on our website, and we can get in contact with them and meet them at a time that may work for them as well. So
I know over the past 2 years, Nathan, we've had, Crystal on with other guests and talking about, the hunger and the awareness to get the information out, because no one really thought about it. I mean, I know I was one of those guys, I never thought about that students are going hungry over there on campus. So it's really grown to 2,800, but that's a good and a bad thing if there's that many kids that are hungry on campus. So is there other things that people can do to support this pantry?
We would love the support, because the pantry is 100% ran on donations. There is no institutional funding for it. So whether it's student groups, faculty and staff, maybe through payroll deduction, or just community members that want to contribute, we'll take actual canned food item drives that students or communities do, or monetary donations as well.
Okay. Other things that are going on right now, or did you get through most of them?
I was trying to think.
I know. That's the big areas in that part of the office. Yes. But I was going to say, do you want to talk about leadership?
Yes. So this fall we are introducing some new leadership. Wow, I need more coffee. Some new leadership programs to our office. So we'll be focusing on more of like personal leadership programming, organizational leadership programming. We're also going to do an Emerging Leaders Institute as well. And then, of course, fraternity and sorority life leadership programs as well. So that will all be coming out here soon and shortly. We're looking forward to it. It's something that I think the institution has been missing a little bit. So we look forward to collaborating across campus and providing some of those programs for our students. We did a lot of focus groups and surveys for our students to kind of see, what are leadership programs you're interested in, what are we missing. So a lot of our focus is going to be from that, which helped us plan a lot.
Can you give an example of maybe what a student would go through in one of those programs?
Yeah, so our Emerging Leadership Institute is going to be a cohort-based for about 6 to 8 weeks. They'll be going through some different programming in terms of True Colors,
Time management.
time management,
Getting connected to
yeah,
EIU.
getting connected to EIU. So it's going to be a small little cohort that we're going to start with that first. So that's something that somebody will be able to do. And then from that, we're hoping that we can build their leadership skills. So maybe in the fall, starting late fall, they'll start running for leadership opportunities, either in, maybe being a resident assistant or student government or LASSO, BSU. So that's kind of what we're hoping to do, is build some of those leadership skills.
Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Do you both set goals for the different things that you do? Like for the leadership program, do you have a goal? You want this many students when you're going out to an event? Do you want this many students? And you're laughing at me.
Laughing at you because, well, the answer is yes. There's always goals and objectives. I think from a leadership perspective, we're still kind of figuring out what that looks like.
All right.
As we've been planning that over the last
Yes.
6 months, and so obviously, what does success look like? Maybe a little different for that one. Is we're just kind of saying, okay, we've done that research with our students on campus and said, what are you looking for? But we're not really sure what that turnout's going to be just yet. But we are really excited and optimistic that this will be beneficial for the students, whether it is those emerging leaders or current officers and registered organizations that can gain some additional leadership skills to help them be more successful.
What are the hours like if a student's going to engage in one of these leadership conferences or things? Is it 2, 3, 4 hours a week, more, or what?
Oh no, we're doing 1 hour, if tops, if that. So it'll be only about maybe 45 to 50 minutes that a student will participate in a program, and some of them might be a little bit shorter as well.
One of the things that I've noticed, and you said it when you came in, Nathan, is you've never been here before. Is one of the conferences or one of the programs to kind of get students who maybe are not in radio to radio, and the students that are in radio to go see what the life science building looks like, or other places on campus? Because sometimes, I've always heard this, that
Right.
we kind of get stuck in our own silos.
Yes.
Is there any of that involved?
I would agree that we do kind of get stuck in our own silos. I mean, of course, like I said, I walked in and I was like, oh, I've never been here. This is really cool. But yes, I think once we start really expanding that programs, I definitely think that is an opportunity. We do have some campus connections in some of our leadership programs, but that's definitely something we can definitely explore.
I'd like both of you to answer this question if you could. If you're having a bad day, one of those days, it's a Monday on a Thursday, is there somebody you can call that's like your mentor to uplift you? Do you have a mentor, either of you, or somebody you can just kind of lean into?
You can go right ahead if you want to go first.
I don't know that that's really my go-to when I'm having a bad day. I try to figure out how to just take time for myself, go for a walk, and decompress.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer too.
But I do, when you said that, I'm like, I don't do that initially, but yeah, I have 1 or 2 people that I can be like, all right, here's who I can reach out to and get some advice from or sound off some ideas from.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely have that individuals. That for me would be a Miss Katie Witt Danner.
Yes.
She's a
She's
complex director for Greek Court and LSPN. So we've grown very close since actually she was a student leader back in the day. I won't give the age out, but we've been really close from past few years. So.
All right, I'm going to jump back into Jumpstart for I just thought of another question. Is now the 24 different, I'm going to call them businesses or organizations. Now, what if somebody comes up with one and just heard about this? Can they also add something on for Saturday, or is it too late for them?
It's too late to add additional organizations for this year, but they can still reach out, call, email us, and we can definitely get them on the list for next year. That's not a problem at all.
I just wondered because when you think about it. And then when the kids are signing up and they show up to their buses or they show up to the events, what do the kids ask and kids respond the most to when they know that they're volunteering?
Well, we want them. We hope that they're going to do it because not just because they're told to do it, but because they want to give back and contribute and learn more about their community that they're going to call home for the next several years. But obviously, we know that's not always the case, especially for new freshmen. So we have food and snacks for them, get them pumped up and feed them because just like the campus food pantry, we don't want them hungry. So yeah, we try to do what we can to make it exciting and having our student leaders there to support them and encourage them and just start building those connections and relationships with them.
So what do you tell the student leaders to kind of keep those students, the volunteer students, motivated and really not apprehensive, I think, that day?
I think we kind of encourage them to participate as well, and you might be the student leader, but definitely to get their hands a little dirty as well, and role model the way and being great student leaders as well. I think we, sometimes the students show up and they're like, oh, what am I doing? But we also see when they come back after their 2-year or 2-year, oh my God, 2-hour service event, that they kind of have a change of heart and they're like, oh, that was really cool. Is there other opportunities to go back there, especially with Aikman Wildlife? I know when I went as a leader one time, I was like this close to a hyena. Don't worry, there was a cage, but they start to learn that like there's some really cool areas around town.
That's cool. When you think about this week, I know you're gearing up for Jumpstart. There's other things on campus. Can you go through a couple of those?
Yeah. I don't want to specifically say this week, although, like move-ins Thursday, there's the convocation Thursday afternoon, the welcome back picnic on Friday. Saturday afternoon after Jumpstart, there'll be the freshman connections. So they'll get to opportunity to pick which sessions they go to learn more about ways to get involved on campus. But from our office and our perspective, we're excited this year to partner more closely with New Student Family Programs and do some first year experience initiatives. And one of those is we have developed what we're calling the Weeks of Welcome or WOW Passport. So all new freshmen will get that when they show up for their class photo and check in on Friday morning. And this passport has all kinds of different events and activities happening during the first 6 weeks of the semester, which is really when it's important to get them involved so that we can hope that they're more successful and retained on campus and graduate. And so they're going to have this access to all these events. And of course, like you said, what's the incentive for them to do something? So if they participate or complete at least 15 of those events throughout the first few weeks and turn it back into our office, we'll have gift card drawings and prize drawings and stuff, just as that incentive. But it's another great resource for them to know what's happening across all different areas on campus.
Do you ever think, and I'm not trying to be negative here, but
No.
do we ever think that when we throw so much at a freshman the first 6 weeks, does that give you a little, is it a little scarier? Would it be better to wait a few weeks? I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, the first 6 weeks are the most important for retention of new students. So while it might seem like a lot, that's also a very important time to where we can, get them acclimated to campus to where they'll hopefully build some connections either through different events or offices so that we can work on the retention of those students. And that's also where they're feeling a little homesick, so we want to make sure they get that home away from home feeling. So I absolutely see and hear what you're talking about, but those are like the most critical weeks.
Just wanted to kind of think sometimes you got to take the other side just to get a view of it. It makes sense.
And we hear that sometimes with students, even during orientation fairs and stuff in the summer. They're like, oh, this is just a lot. And we're like, okay, we don't want to overwhelm you now. Here's just the 30-second overview of our office. Come see us at the involvement fair or something the second week of classes and learn more about us then once you get settled in. And we'll kind of be out there doing different tabling events and programs throughout those first 6 weeks to like re-bring them in.
What does social media come in with your office?
It comes in a lot. So right now we both have 2 kind of separate social media Instagram accounts, but we're working on creating one. So we have the EIU FSL and then EIU Volunteers. So we share back and forth posting and sharing Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing, we had the athletic department on last week or the week before. They were talking about trying to make sure that we get more students out. Did you guys play a part in that, invite people, give them the schedules or anything?
We do whatever we can to support not just our area, but other student affairs areas, academic programs, athletics on campus. So we share what we see out there on our social media specifically. I'm constantly, from the volunteer side, sharing community events and things happening. So yeah, we want to support not just our area, but campus-wide, community-wide, what other programs
and
are.
We have some of those athletic events in the Weeks of Welcome Passports. So we do have a lot of them there. So if they go and they take a selfie at the event, they could turn that in and show the selfie. So we do have some of those athletic events in there.
Yeah, that's neat. I want to go back to the student leaders a little bit. What do you think is the best 2 or 3 attributes of a great student leader when you know that person's got it and they're going to Aikman, you don't have to worry about it?
Right.
What are those?
I would say initiative, for one, would be a good one. I would also say, God, they popped in my head and now I left.
While you're thinking of that, I'd say somebody who's also willing to jump in. Like he said earlier, not just somebody who's going to be that liaison between our office and the organization, but somebody who's willing to get their hands dirty and connect with the students and dig in deep on whatever that project is.
I would also say the willingness to learn. We always have, I'm learning every day, right? So I would say the willingness to learn, and then being a good servant leader.
Now, do you do follow-ups on like after the 24 or the 24 Jumpstart's done? Do you send a survey out to the kids and the businesses?
Yes.
And what are the kind of couple questions that you ask to make sure that everything's doing well?
From an organization standpoint, it's more of a general, like, how did it go, or is there anything we could do to improve it for the next year? What worked well, what didn't. For the students, it's like, what project did they go to, what did they like about it, what didn't they like about it. Of course, we want to plug our areas, so we also are like, do you want to get more information about our area moving forward through the school year as well?
Absolutely.
Now, do you accept then some of the comments as suggestions from the student and the public?
Yeah, always. I mean, we can't continue to improve and do things better from an organizational standpoint or for our students if we don't take those comments.
Putting you both on the spot with this next question. I apologize. Is there an example you can give of like a student saw that, man, we should do this at that one and we weren't, or vice versa at a place?
I was thinking from the organizational side. We had an organization last year that had some concerns with students not really following directions and getting paint all over the sidewalk, and they didn't show the pride, and then our student leaders weren't as engaged as we were just talking about and we would like. So that for us was like, okay, how do I maintain that relationship with the organization? So hopefully they'll come back this year, which fortunately they are willing to come back this year. And so being more intentional on making sure I have student leaders that are going to have that initiative and that passion, so that we can have a successful year with them. We're
talking to Crystal Brown and Nathan Wehr today here on Issues and Attitudes from the WEIU Office of Leadership and Engagement. Every office here has these long terms now. We've noticed Eastern. The toughest part of your job. What's the toughest part, Crystal, than Nathan?
For me, and yes, the toughest part of my job is when a lot of my fraternity and sorority life leaders don't live up to their values and don't provide the most positive membership experience. And having those kind of conversations with those organizations, that's the tough part, for me at least.
Okay. Crystal?
That's a hard one.
Well, I can't throw you all fastballs.
I know.
Right.
I know. I think, I was trying to think two things here. I think as times have changed in the last several years, our
students have changed.
Students have changed. Yeah, students have changed.
COVID and social media.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so I think from a student perspective and our agencies, like the students are just pulled in so many different directions. So sometimes I hear from university leadership or community, like, we need more students out there. We need more volunteering opportunities. And I'm like, the students are too busy. They're focused on their academics and working for helping back home, and they're engaged, but just not to the same way they were.
I think what you said it hits the nail on the head. Most of them have one or two paying jobs.
Yeah.
Where
absolutely.
I remember when I was going to Eastern, that was kind of not everybody did.
No.
You were kind of an outlier if you did.
Yeah.
So I think that makes it challenging to continue to do what we do and make sure that we're doing it the best that we can, and we've got the numbers that we need. But we know the students that are available and willing and interested are there.
What about your favorite part of your job then? What's the favorite part?
I would say interacting with the students. And that probably seems really cliche, but I've built a lot of good relationships with a lot of our fraternity and sorority life leaders that I think have expanded beyond just their 4 years here, and I really, really cherish those relationships. One of my past Panhellenic presidents just got a job at Rhodes College as an assistant director for fraternity and sorority life. So we've been bebopping and connecting, so that's really cool to see that.
Crystal, favorite part?
I think seeing the students grow and find their passion. A lot of students come to us maybe from Jumpstart and then find a fit and come back and volunteer over and over, or end up working in our office, which is really cool to see them grow. But then I also think, because of the unique role I have in my position, is getting to work so closely with our community and our organizations and our community and build those relationships.
Do you see any challenges this coming school year, or you feel going in pretty positive?
I feel pretty positive going in. I mean, there's always challenges. I think the biggest one this year is because we've been growing and evolving our office. I don't feel like, it's not that I'm not ready, but there's just so much more on our plate this year, which is exciting, but it's like we want to make sure we're ready for the students and have everything in place.
I would agree. I definitely think since we are expanding, is making sure that we are doing it correctly and making sure we're providing a good experience.
How far out do you plan events? I mean, are you already working on next
Wait.
school year at the same time, or what?
Which
Pretty
person
close.
are you asking?
Both.
Not the same. Not the same. I'm a little behind my normal this year because summer was, like I said, a lot crazier. But yeah, while Jumpstart's going, I'm already thinking next spring's events. And then as soon as Jumpstart's over, we'll be talking next summer and fall as well.
I go day by day sometimes.
I got to keep him in line.
No, she has definitely helped out a lot. I mean, I have a 3-month calendar, which is
That's
definitely
huge
changed.
for him.
Right. So I'm a day by day.
It's too bad you guys don't get along. That's
Right.
That's cool. We have a few minutes left today. Anything I forgot that you want to talk about? Any events, promotions that the Office of Leadership and Engagement is doing before we get into completely unrelated questions?
I have 2 things. Next Monday, the first day of classes, we'll have a first day of classes photo event in the library quad. So any parents out there that are listening, if your student is coming here, make sure to remind them to stop by to get that first day of classes photo event so you can post it on the Facebook. That'll be from 10 to 3 p.m. in library quad. We'll have music, the big EIU letters, all that good fun stuff. So, and that'll be in collaboration with our IFC and Panhellenic councils. And then I was also just going to say that our Student Life office is doing the greatest school on earth. So they'll have a carnival that they've had. I think we haven't had one for quite a few years, but
I think it's setting up now, right?
yeah, it's there. I think it's all parked out in
Yeah.
Carmen Hall, so I think they're getting ready to set up. But Thursday through Sunday,
Yeah.
they'll have a carnival out for our students. So, and that's free for our students to go and ride, and of course, you got to have the fair food as well.
There you go. And except for that EIU thing, I'm going to bring a W one of those days. And have-
Right? Oh, that'd be cute.
They
That'd be
get 2
great.
There you
pictures. plus
go.
one.
Right.
All right, rapid fire, silly questions now that we've talked to you.
Oh, no.
These are easy. Favorite movie of all time? We'll go Crystal, then Nathan.
Wow.
Favorite movie of all
Favorite
time.
movie. I don't know that I have a favorite movie. Okay, I'll go the Fast and Furious movies.
Okay. I think mine is either Now and Then or Still Magnolias.
Mm-hmm.
You could go with Breakfast with Anyone, alive or dead. Who would it be?
These are so
Breakfast
hard.
with Anyone.
Yeah. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Wow. You
God.
have such hard questions.
Well, I thought that would be an easy one. Everybody has like their favorite person, like Abraham Lincoln or
I
Right.
mean, that would be really
Harrison
cool.
Ford. I don't know.
Okay, this is gonna sound corny, but from a music standpoint, I've always loved Reba McEntire.
Good Reba. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a talk after the show, Crystal. I
Sorry,
think Crystal Brown's last appearance on Issues. Oh,
you made me pick somebody.
I know I did. It's my fault.
You know, I would probably do Cher.
There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Will you see the Barbie movie? Yes or no?
No.
I have been meaning to. I just haven't had time.
Last concert you attended?
I just went to WBGL's Harvest of Hope
yeah,
this
Matt too. There you
weekend.
go.
Oh my God. It was a Stevie Nicks tribute band with my parents.
There you go. Well, great to meet you, Nathan.
Yes,
Crystal, it
thank
was always
you.
good to see you. No, I'm just kidding. It's great to see you again, and we appreciate all you do for us and the work you do here at Eastern Illinois University. That's Crystal Brown and Nathan Wehr from the office here at EIU for Leadership Engagement. Everybody have a great day.